Most of you know that we are an on-time dealer. We've used on-time feeders for over 20 years, way before we became a dealer. Personally used them, still personally use them. I think currently we run about 36, roughly 36 on-time feeders in 3 states. This one here is just strictly a bait site. I'm just kind of keeping our eye peeled for any hogs migrating through this property. Now you're going to see we've made some modifications to it. I laugh, but we did figure out over the years that when we came up with this varmint guard system on these plastic barrels, these squirrels will sit right here because squirrels live to aggravate the living hell out of human beings. That's their job. That's their badge of honor, I think. And what they'll do is they'll chew on these corners. So one of our latest and greatest inventions is called roofing cement, and we'll just slap some roofing cement on it. And believe it or not, it actually works really well so far. Keeps them from chewing on the corners. When you go to the metal barrel, which is pretty much almost everything we use now, this varmint guard system we came up with goes up underneath the barrel so they can't get to it. And then we put hardware cloth, which keeps the coons from getting in there and flipping the spinner and all that. The purpose of the video is to kind of show you a little fix that you can do yourself. Lifetime warranty on the on-time feeder. That motor that just slid down because I've loosened up the screws on it. But you got to ship it back. They ship it back. They fix it. You got to pay for shipping there, shipping back. So, you know, that might be okay for some of you, but we run so many and we're a dealer for on time. We just go ahead and fix it ourselves. And it actually, in the long run, financially, it saves us money because we're not having to pay to ship it there, to ship it back. All we're paying for is the part. So I'm going to walk you through that today real quick. For some of you, like, big deal. For some of you, like, hey, didn't ever think about it, didn't realize it was that easy to fix, and might save you some money in the long run. So hang on. If you hear panting in the background, that's not one of the boys. I've actually got the baby with me. So she's definitely worked up today. So these cones attached to the barrel, and we've got a system where we silicone it. We put a what we call a spare panel. We call it the hog cutter package. Our friend Brent Stevens from Stevens Tractor Company in Louisiana, pretty much his design. We've made a few mods on our end. So when the motor is removed, which we already had done the screws, we put thumb screws in. When you buy it from On Time or from a dealer, it's going to have like little set screws. We just go with the thumb screws. That way you don't have to have an Allen wrench to operate it. And then we put a thumb screw up here. You can buy these at any of your hardware store. Not a big deal. We carry spare ones. Kind of the way to go. And then that way you can just take your multiplier, or Zeb even takes his pocket knife, sticks it in the little groove and turns it and locks it in. So I'm going to go over here, get on a bag of corn and kind of show you how this works with removing this. What you'll hear eventually is you'll start to hear like a bearing noise, little tiny bearings in there. They go bad. We'll show you one thing that we do to prolong the bearings going bad. And we take just a little bit of 3-in-1 oil on each monthly maintenance interval, and we squirt it right into that shaft. And that actually helps keep the little spinner plate bearings to last longer. Doesn't cost much, but a little squirt of 3-in-1 oil and you're good to go. So we're going to get it set up with a camera, because I don't have anybody to hold the camera for me. Show you how we remove the plate and then put it back on. So we're here at our workbench, which is bags of corn. And in the back of actually on this property, we are using a mule. It's not a gator, it's a mule. Landowner is letting us borrow it. So gotta love the love. So when you get this little kit, you can order these online. You can order them from a dealer. You can order them from On Time. It's basically a replacement for that little guy right there, as you can see, okay? And then it will come with a 3M gasket that we will show you how that goes on. And then all you're gonna do is remove the old wire nuts and put these new ones on. We do suggest, if you do this, especially if you're in the field, have some different size wire nuts. We've seen some issues with that. Doesn't matter. You don't get hung up on positive and negative. It really doesn't matter. At least we don't think it does, and we've done it that way for years. So don't, look at the stripe, look at no stripe and go, crap, which way? Don't matter. just wire nut it on and go. So hang on. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a pocket knife, but very carefully, as my wife would say, and just kind of pry this edge up, and then it just kind of pops right off. So let me figure out how I can do that, since I don't have somebody to hold the camera for me. So not an advertisement for Rockform, but we do love Rockform. It's a magnetic mount. Here's one on the back of my other phone, and they work really well. So it's actually got the magnet going to the roll cage on the mule. So what you're going to do, again, be very careful with this. You're just trying to get something right under that edge, okay? Keep your fingers out of the way, as my wife would say. And you wonder why I keep saying that, because my wife says, and she's in the medical business, most injuries occur because you're using the wrong tool for the wrong application, or you get in a hurry. So you see how I kind of pop that around. Once you open it up, you can just take it, pull it back. As it comes out, you're going to see it's wire nutted. As I said, it's not a bad idea, especially when you're in the field, to carry a couple different size wire nuts. We've had a few issues with that. So all we're going to do is unwire nut it. There's no power going to it right now at the moment, because I have the 12 lithium batteries removed. You'll know that the spinner is basically going out because it'll squeal. When you do your test, you'll get a really loud squeal that you know that just ain't right. It's a high-pitched squeal, like a bad bearings. And you got to think about it from a realistic standpoint. Little tiny bearings inside of here. We run our motors twice a day. You know, that's a lot of work. And they're only going to last so long. Sometimes we write the date when they've been replaced, but I know sometimes we get at least a year out of these guys. I think they're about $15, give or take. Again, you can send it to On Time, and they're going to replace it for you free of charge, but you're going to have to ship it there and ship it back. All right, so all you do, it's removed, no big deal, okay? I would suggest, if you are doing this, it's not a bad idea to take some wire strippers and maybe just get you a little bit more wire to work with, and that's where the different size wire nuts come in. So I'm going to grab the strippers out of our trapping bag, and I'm going to strip back just a little bit more, and then you'll see me go to work on that. So stand by. So I went ahead and stripped back the wire from the new spinner. I'm going to try to use the existing wire nuts that came with the kit. The grays is generally what comes in the On Times. We carry blues with us. They seem to be a little bit better about grabbing, because what you'll generally see a lot of times is it doesn't have enough up in there. And you can get more wire. You can double the wire over so it grabs more. You can do all that, or just swap out wire nuts. All right, so as you can see, I swapped out for the blues. The blues are a little bit bigger wire nut. The wire will go up in there. You keep turning and you'll get a good pull. Give them a tug and they're good. Now, here comes the other part about tools. One thing you got to remember, and I've only done this about 496,000 times wrong, is that you want to go ahead and get that 3M gasket seal right there. You want to go ahead and get it in the wire. But what you're going to do, you can use a razor knife, just about anything, but you've got to get this old rubbery junk off of here, okay? And I apologize that, or maybe for some of you, it's a pleasure that you don't have to see my face and the rest of me while doing this. But it's really the only way to kind of show you how we do it. And I don't think you're watching the video to look at me. At least I would hope not. So you just kind of skin all that back. It's just a little bit of glue. If you're in a shop, I would suggest maybe taking a little bit of brake cleaner, put it on a rag. But these cases on these On Times feeder are aluminum. So if you grind real hard with this pocket knife, you'll actually get down pretty much to bare metal, and not hurt your knife and not hurt the motor. Okay. I've seen, we've used to use hot glue, take a hot glue gun to it. Hot glue will work too. Okay. And once you get all that on there, or off there, you're going to come through here. You're going to take this first gasket protector off. Okay. Get it out of your way. You're going to flip it over. Kind of want to get both hands on this operation. And then you're just trying to center it over where you just cleaned with whatever you decided to clean with. Razor knife, pocket knife, screwdriver, it don't matter. Press it down good. Okay. And you're going to come through, tear that off. The way that we normally see it come from On Time is it's curled back in there like a snake. Okay, so you just kind of curl it back down in there like a snake. All right, and now, again, same procedures you did with the seal. You're going to take your fingers and kind of line it up. Have your fingers touch the case, come down, kind of get it good and centered, and then seal it. Okay, now you've attached your new spinner plate. And for the purposes of the video, I'm not going to go ahead and set the time and date, but I'm just going to kind of show you. We're going to hit the test button. So in 10 seconds, it counts down 10 seconds, it'll spin. And we test our feeders every time we're doing maintenance once a month. So here she goes. If the spinner itself is bad, this one here, when it gets towards the wind down right there, it'll start squealing really loud. And you're like, okay. Because eventually what's going to happen, it's just going to go on you. So, I hope the video helps. You know, a little operation in the field, fix it yourself. We carry all of these in our trapping bags. We carry extras in the truck. Really like On Time, not sponsored, endorsed by On Time. Love the feeder. Just can't say enough good about it. This motor, and from what we've seen, has not changed in the last 20 years as far as like, they're not cutting corners with cheaper this or cheaper that. We do recommend going with the thumb screws. It's just easier than trying to have an Allen wrench. We do carry the little Allen wrench in our pocket in the my little thing here that we talk about. You know, if you're a trapping geek, you carry this little tool pouch, wire strippers, and then we carry some extra wire nuts. And so if you're out in the field and this goes down and you're like, crap, I don't want to send it in, I don't want to send it back, and I don't want my feeder down, we have tons of spare motors. Every vehicle's got a spare motor in it. But we realize you guys out there in the field, you know, probably aren't going to do that. And don't really have that necessity. But if your thing starts squealing really loud and you're like, crap, you know, order one, keep it in there. It's an easy fix. It's not hard. And it's kind of what the video is about, really. You know, the name of the game is maintenance. We say that all the time in our videos. And it's also about keeping your equipment up and running properly. You know, today I was like, it's starting to squeal a little bit. Fix it. I got extra time today. Next month, I may not have time to sit here and do all this. And then what if it goes down on me? You know, there's a little shaft in here, the one we put the 3-in-1 oil on. You know, I've seen issues with the shaft because the bearings are so bad. So any of you that are mechanically inclined, you're going to understand the bearings are there to kind of hold crap together. When the bearings ain't working, crap ain't holding together. So, comments, concerns, questions, get up with us. And that is your spinner replacement for an On Time. This is what they call the Digital Elite because it has a digital screen. If you ever are online and you're looking for an On Time feeders and you're like, crap, you know, what is the difference? It's got a digital screen, okay? The beauty of the on time for us, even before we were a business, is the availability, if I can talk today, is, you see that? It says 100%, okay? 75%, 50%. We can control how hard this thing spins from 100% power, 75, 50%. Why does that matter? Well, in a trap, we don't want corn outside the trap. We want it in a trap. If you're blowing at 100, you're going to blow it out. We want to keep it in, so we dial it down. At a bait site, we don't really care, except for a camera, because I have an ice camera right here watching this. So we want 50%. Generally, that's what we run. Also saves battery, which, again, it's about money. And then you can adjust how many spin times you want, how many times a day, whatever you want, right here with this digital screen. It's simple, it's easy. If somebody like me who, has trouble spelling cat, and you're going to give me the C and the T, right? You can do it, seriously. And this is an easy fix for you guys too, so you don't have any downtime, because we need corn on the ground to keep an eye on the hog. If there's no corn on the ground, they may just cut right in front of this and go on, and now you got hogs on your property and you don't know it. So that being said, we got to roll. The baby's finally laid down, and she's being calm. She was chewing on a big stick. So spread the love, not the hate, and y'all have a great day.
Thank you.